There is exactly one window of time each year when an ordinary forest transforms into something that looks almost unreal, when entire mountainsides turn the color of fire and a simple wooden cottage tucked among the trees suddenly looks like it belongs on a postcard rather than in real life. That window is closing fast in most regions, and today we are chasing it. I am taking you through 15 genuinely beautiful autumn forest cottages, each one set against some of the most spectacular fall foliage on the planet. Stay until the end because the final cottage on this list sits in a setting that gets more dramatic and more fleeting than almost anywhere else on Earth. Quick ask before we start. Before we head out, if cozy cottages and fall color are your thing, go ahead and hit that like button, it genuinely helps this video reach more people. Subscribe if you want more seasonal tours like this one, and tell me in the comments which region's fall colors you think are the most beautiful. Let us get into it. Why autumn color happens the way it does. Before we start the tour, it is worth understanding the actual science behind what we are about to see because it makes every cottage on this list a little more meaningful. Through spring and summer, leaves stay green because chlorophyll, the pigment responsible for photosynthesis, dominates and constantly regenerates. As days shorten and temperatures drop in autumn, trees gradually stop producing chlorophyll, and as it breaks down, other pigments that were present in the leaf all along, carotenoids responsible for yellow and orange and anthocyanins responsible for red and purple, finally become visible. Climate researchers tracking foliage timing through 2025 have noted that warming average temperatures have shifted peak color dates later by several days to a week or more in many regions compared to historical baselines from a few decades ago, meaning the exact timing window for chasing this kind of beauty has genuinely shifted within recent memory. Number 15. The Vermont Maple Hollow Cottage. We start in New England, where sugar maples produce some of the most famous fall color displays anywhere in the world. This style of cottage typically sits tucked into a small hollow surrounded by maples, their leaves shifting through a full spectrum from yellow to deep orange to genuinely vivid red over the course of just a few weeks. The cottage exterior usually leans into white clapboard siding with black shutters, a classic New England look that pairs strikingly well against that surrounding wall of color. Number 14. The Appalachian Ridge Line Cottage. Set higher up along a forested Appalachian ridge, this cottage style benefits from elevation, since color change in mountainous regions typically begins at higher altitudes first before working its way down into the valleys over several weeks. A wraparound porch here often becomes the best seat in the house, offering a long view across layered ridgelines where each successive mountain range appears slightly less colorful than the one in front of it, an effect locals sometimes describe as watching the season roll downhill in real time. Number 13. The Bavarian Forest Cottage. In the dense forests of southern Germany, beech trees turn a particularly striking copper and bronze color each autumn, distinct from the brighter reds and oranges more common in North American maple forests. Cottages in this style typically feature steep pitched roofs and dark timber framing against white plaster walls, a traditional construction method that creates a strong visual contrast against the warm bronze canopy surrounding the structure. Number 12. The Quebec Sugar Shack Cottage. Just across the border in Quebec, a specific architectural tradition has grown directly out of the maple sugaring industry, small, practical cottages originally built for harvesting maple sap that have increasingly been converted into genuinely charming seasonal retreats. Surrounded by the same sugar maple forests that make this region one of the most significant maple syrup producing areas on the planet, these cottages offer a fall color experience tied directly to the very trees responsible for an entire regional industry. Number 11. The Japanese Momiji Valley Cottage. In the mountain valleys of Japan, the autumn tradition of momiji, specifically viewing the brilliant red maple leaves that define the season, has been culturally significant for centuries. Cottages built in this tradition tend to be small, minimalist wooden structures with a single deliberately placed window or open veranda framing a specific, carefully chosen maple tree, treating that one tree almost like a living piece of seasonal art rather than simply one part of a larger forest. Number 10. The Scottish Highland Birch Cottage. Across the Scottish Highlands, birch forests turn a softer, more golden yellow each autumn rather than the vivid reds found elsewhere, often set against the already muted purples and browns of heather-covered hillsides beyond the treeline. Stone cottages in this region, built from local fieldstone with thick walls designed to handle highland weather, create a particularly atmospheric contrast against that golden birch canopy, especially when low-hanging mist settles into the valley during cooler autumn mornings. Number 9. The Blue Ridge Parkway Cottage. Along one of the most famous scenic drives in the United States, small cottages tucked just off the parkway benefit from a genuinely extended color season. since the range of elevations along this specific stretch of mountains means visitors can often find peak color somewhere along the route across several consecutive weeks rather than just a single short window. Cottage architecture here tends to favor simple log construction with deep covered porches. Practical design choices that have remained consistent for generations specifically because they work so well with the climate and the views. Number 8. The Swedish Aspen Grove Cottage. In parts of Scandinavia, aspen groves turn a particularly luminous, almost glowing yellow each autumn, the thin leaves catching and seeming to amplify available light in a way that denser forest canopies do not replicate as effectively. Traditional red-painted Swedish cottages, a color choice originally derived from iron-rich pigment historically mixed directly into the paint, create one of the most photographed color combinations in Scandinavian autumn tourism, that distinctive fallow red against a backdrop of glowing yellow aspen leaves. Number 7. The Great Smoky Mountains Cottage. This region produces one of the most biodiverse and therefore most colorful fall displays in North America, since the sheer variety of tree species packed into these mountains means reds, oranges, yellows, and even lingering greens can all appear within the same hillside view simultaneously. Small log cottages built into the forest here typically use deep-set windows and covered porches specifically designed to frame that layered, multicolored canopy without overwhelming the cottage's own relatively modest scale. Number 6. The French Alps Larch Cottage. Unusually among conifers, larch trees actually do change color and drop their needles each autumn, turning a striking golden yellow before falling, a detail that surprises many visitors who assume all evergreen trees stay green year-round. Stone and timber cottages set among larch forests in the French Alps benefit from this unexpected seasonal display, paired with the already dramatic backdrop of the surrounding peaks, some of which may already be receiving their first dusting of early-season snow by the time the larch needles have fully turned. Number 5. The Korean Seoraksan Cottage. In the mountains of South Korea, a particularly intense and rapid color transformation each autumn has made this region one of the most visited fall foliage destinations in Asia, with social media-driven tourism through 2025 pushing visitor numbers during peak color weeks to genuinely significant levels. Small traditional hanok-style cottages, built with characteristic curved tile roofs and wooden frameworks, offer a distinctly different architectural backdrop against the surrounding color compared to the log and timber styles more common in North American and European entries on this list. Number 4. The Patagonian Lenga Forest Cottage. In the southern reaches of South America, lenga trees, a species of southern beech, produce a fall color display that arrives on an entirely different calendar than the northern hemisphere entries on this list, since autumn in Patagonia falls between March and May. Cottages here tend towards simple, heavily weatherproof timber construction designed to handle the region's notoriously strong winds, with large windows specifically oriented to capture views of the Lenga forest's seasonal shift against a backdrop of genuinely dramatic, jagged mountain peaks. Number 3. The Catskills Hemlock and Maple Cottage. Set within a mixed forest of hemlock and maple in the Catskill Mountains, this cottage style benefits from genuine textural contrast, the deep, unchanging green of the hemlocks providing a steady backdrop against which the maple's seasonal color shift becomes even more dramatic by comparison. Architecture here often leans into a slightly more refined, design-forward aesthetic compared to some of the more rustic entries on this list, reflecting the region's longer history as a retreat destination for design-conscious visitors from nearby major cities. Number 2. The New Hampshire White Mountains Cottage. This entry benefits from one of the most reliably spectacular and well-studied fall foliage seasons in all of North America, with decades of detailed tracking data from regional tourism boards allowing genuinely precise peak color predictions each year, typically falling within the first 2 to 3 weeks of October depending on elevation and that year's specific weather pattern. Cottages tucked into these forests typically combine traditional New England architecture with large windows specifically oriented toward the surrounding peaks, capturing both the forest color at close range and the broader mountain backdrop simultaneously. Number 1. The Canadian Rockies Larch Valley Cottage. Topping the list is a cottage style set within larch valleys throughout the Canadian Rockies, where the same golden needle drop phenomenon we saw earlier in the French Alps occurs on an even more dramatic scale, set against towering, often already snow-capped peaks and the same strikingly turquoise glacial lakes found throughout this region. The specific combination, golden larch needles, brilliant blue lake water and dramatic gray stone peaks, creates a color palette genuinely unlike anything else on this entire list, and the larch color window here is famously brief, often lasting only about a week to 10 days depending on the specific year's weather, making cottages in this setting some of the most fleeting and most sought-after fall destinations covered in this entire tour. What makes this season so worth chasing? Looking back across all 15 entries, a clear pattern emerges. Every single one of these cottages exists in a kind of temporary partnership with its surrounding forest, beautiful year-round in its own right, but genuinely transformed for just a few short weeks by a process that scientists understand in precise chemical detail and yet still manages to feel like something close to magic when you are actually standing in front of it. That tension between scientific explanation and pure emotional impact might be exactly why autumn color tourism has continued growing steadily through 2025 and into 2026, even as climate shifts continue gradually altering the precise timing of when that brief window actually arrives each year. From a maple hollow in Vermont to a golden larch valley deep in the Canadian Rockies, these 15 cottages prove that the right small structure, set in exactly the right forest, at exactly the right few weeks of the year, can turn an ordinary stay into something genuinely unforgettable. If this tour gave you a new destination to add to your autumn bucket list, subscribe for more seasonal cottage and cabin tours just like this one. Let me know in the comments which fall color region you would chase first, and I will see you in the next video.